Just a little perch right there. Look at that rod. Oh my goodness. So it's been months since I first unboxed this Daiwa Iprimi, but finally I am getting it on the water. I've been meaning to fish with it for a long time, but here we are. This is a 6-foot extra ultralight. This is actually a 4-piece rod, so it's a travel rod, and it's JDM. Like I said, extra ultralight. So this is really meant for really small things. You know, line ratings 1.5 to 3 pound, 0.6 to 3 grams for lure ratings. It doesn't say if it's like fast or moderate. I think they call this like an area rod. I definitely would consider this more like a moderate fast. It's not as fast as some of the rods I've used, but all things considered, it feels pretty good. I think it's probably a little bit more designed for spoons and stuff like that, but I'm gonna start with a jig, little 1/64th ounce mule jig with a horsefly. Probably gonna switch to a spoon at some point. Either way, just excited to be on the water. Hopefully we catch some yellow perch today. Let's get started. I wouldn't necessarily say it's whippy, but it's just very light. It's super ultralight, truly. It's gonna have a lot of whip to it, but not in a bad way necessarily. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just a little perch right there. Look at that rod. Oh my goodness. This thing's like a spaghetti noodle. So as far as what reel I set up on this, I moved my Shimano Soare BB. This is a 500 size reel. It's got the 1.75 pound Ester line on there. So I figured this is a great setup for this particular rod because this rod is rated for really light line. The 500 seems to balance pretty good, and maybe a little tip heavy there. I think a 1000 might be just a little bit better, but pretty good. Pretty good right there actually. So this rod is extremely lightweight despite the fact that it's 4 pieces. I really do like it. I definitely could see myself traveling with this rod, and as we just saw, this thing is an absolute noodle when you hook a fish, so it could make for some good times on stuff like bluegill. Like I said, I think it's a little bit more designed for stuff like spoons, things with treble hooks, but I think it'll be just fine with the jig. Time will tell. We'll see how it handles this bad boy right here. First, I gotta catch this fish that just sluggishly bit it. Feels like it's shaking its head. It might be a bass. I'm thinking this is gonna be a bass. Yeah, it's a bass. Look at that rod. Oh my goodness. So Dad, this is a super ultralight. So we take an ultralight and we go just a little bit more. It's like a noodle. Look at that rod bend. That's hilarious. This is gonna be so much fun for bluegill and little perch, maybe some little trout. There you go, horsefly, dinky bass. See you, bud. There we go. Oh yeah. See that rod bend? It's probably gonna be a whopping 8-inch fish. You know what? He's fighting pretty good though. Can't tell what it is. What are you gonna be? Bass? Yeah, it's bass, a little bass. Might actually loosen my drag just a hair. About like the last one. All right, there you go. Hey, I hooked him really good. Look at that, right through the nose. See you, bud. So just another look at how this rod loads up. And so when it comes to casting, you know, I feel like I leave just a little bit more line out there, and I really do I try to get a little bit of momentum and just whip that thing out there, and the rod really loads up, and it actually does cast quite a ways. It just took some getting used to. The first several times I wasn't casting it as far, but it's because the technique of the cast is just a little bit different with a rod that has a little bit more of that flimsiness and that load. But honestly, I'm getting a ton of distance on this thing now that I'm getting used to it. As far as aesthetics go, obviously a very low profile rod. The first thing you're going to notice if you picked one of these up is the fact that it's very lightweight, and obviously, as you can see, there's not a lot of components that can make it heavy. Even the fact that it's 4 pieces, it doesn't really matter. There you can, as you can see, short little pieces there. I think it's less than 20 inches long when you take it apart, so easy to fly with, easy to throw in the car. I do have the Daiwa Presso travel rod. I do really like that rod, but this is definitely a very different rod. This one, like I said, is JDM, and it is a super ultralight. It is definitely a higher end rod than the Presso, but I do love the Presso, so I think both are great options. I think the Presso is a little bit more versatile. This is going to be something where, you know, you're going to want to use sub 3 pound test, and you're going to want to use stuff that's really, really small. So this is for true super ultralight experiences, whereas the Presso is going to be a little bit more versatile, and you're going to be able to use a lot of these micro things, but also just traditional ultralight gear as well. I know this is dumb, but it really does feel painful to cut this off. That is such a perfect loop knot. You know what? I'm gonna cut it above the knot just to remember that loop knot. I'm telling you, it's not easy to tie a good loop knot, guys, especially on 1.75 pound test. There you go, 1/24 ounce Kastmaster. This one's the Tiger Glow color. I actually think this color is gonna be really good for this conditions. This thing right here is beautiful. 1/24 ounce is a perfect size for this rod. It's got gold on one side, and then it's white with chartreuse and little black stripes on the other. I have a feeling I'm going to catch some nice perch on this little thing right here. There's a fish. I knew the spoon would eventually catch me something. Seems like he's swimming towards me. I don't know what it's gonna be. Oh, it's a nice perch. Nice big one. Yeah, nice healthy perch right there. There you go. Not as big as I thought, but quality fish nonetheless. There you go. That is a male perch for you, friends. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. That is a male perch. I will say no more about that topic. Golly. Okay, stop shaking, dude. Stop shaking. Beautiful perch. See you, buddy. Ugh, gosh. Gross. There's another one. There you go. They keep swimming towards me, so we're not getting a real taste of this rod, but there you go. There you go. There you go. Another little perch. Hello, little buddy. Oh boy, it's another little male. Chill out, little guy. Man, these little perch, man, they just really love these Kastmaster spoons, I'm telling you. Good times. Yeah, this is a good little rod for the Kastmaster. This is like a match made in heaven right here. This is perfect. Yeah. There's one. Oh, he's running. I don't know what this is a really, really light rod. So it's gonna be small, but yeah, it's just a decent little chunky perch. That one was kind of weird. He came up and nipped at it, and I didn't think I had him, so I let it drop again, and he came back and ate it. And it's just a little tiny bass that's, oh wow, he has like an injury on his head. That's weird. I wonder what happened there. Either some kind of fish bit at him, or a bird bit at him when he was young, or something weird. He's got a real interesting injury on his back. I feel bad for the little guy. I pegged him perfectly though. Man, I really hooked him good. You don't have to set the hook overly hard with a treble hook, and that's why this rod is good for it. I'm sorry. Oh man. This one, I don't know. Every time I think like, oh, maybe this one will be a little bit bigger, I feel like I can't even say that, because no, it's not. Well, it's maybe a little bigger, but this rod is just crazy. Everything feels big. And that's a respectable little bass for an ultralight, let alone a super ultralight. And he didn't really want to turn his body. There you go, a little 1/24 ounce Kastmaster, a little super ultralight rod, and a little dinky bass. Oh. There's a fish. That was funny. I had a bunch of line out there, and I reeled it up, and I felt a bite, and I set the hook, but I didn't feel anything. And then I reeled up my slack, and he was still there. And it's one of my better perch of the day. All right, there you go. Okay, chill out. I gotta grab him. On this 1.75 pound line, I need to be careful scooping him up. That's what we're here for, boys and girls. A little yellow perch. Good times. See you, bud. You know, I'm gonna fish for a few more minutes here, but I tell you what, this rod right here is an absolute blast. A super ultralight. Gotta love it. It bends like an absolute spaghetti noodle, and it bends on the smallest of fish, which for me is a good thing because I don't catch a lot of big ones. So if I'm gonna catch small fish, I want my rod to make it feel like a big fish. And that's exactly what this rod does. There we go. Here's another one. Seems like this little area right here has a decent amount of fish. And you know what? This one's pulling pretty good. Hopefully by now you've got a pretty good understanding of what this rod does when you have a fish on the end of the line. It's another quality perch, and this one's real colorful right here. Good times. I have a net in this canoe and I have not used it once. It would have come in handy a lot of times, but I just kind of forgot it was by my feet. Okay, just relax, my guy. I like how he's poking up his dorsal fin like that. That's real cool. Look at that guy. Healthy looking perch. Another one. Yeah, it just seems like this area is good because it's wind blown or something. I think the perch are kind of using this as a spawning area. A little bit of vegetation down there and all this wind is blowing down here. And I don't know, there's fish stacked up. That's another, oh, finally I lost one. Unfortunately, that's okay. That was another perch just about like the last one. Twin brother. Well, I think that's gonna do it for today, but folks, I tell you what, this Daiwa Iprimi, I see why people recommended it. Such a fun, stinking rod. I do think that it's going to be a lot of fun also for like little spinners and jerkbaits, so stay tuned for that. I will be fishing with this more this year. Otherwise, stay tuned because we're gonna do a lot more ultralight fishing and super ultralight fishing. So truly appreciate you watching. We'll catch you next time. So I commend the enjoyment of life, because there is nothing better for a person under the sun than to eat and drink and be glad. Then joy will accompany them in their toil all the days of the life God has given them under the sun.